Computer. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're so excited to have you for our career day. Can you go ahead and get us started with a brief introduction?
Yes. My name is Dr. Dwayne White. I'm originally from Miami, Florida. I currently work at the University of Alabama at Birmingham as an assistant professor. I teach mostly counseling related courses. So yes, I am so excited to be here in front of you all and to just talk about some of my experiences. So yes.
Awesome, perfect. And heavy on that Dr. White, Dr. Dwayne White. I love it. So
Yes.
how long have you been there?
So I've been at UAB for about 6 months or so. So I just started in August. So yeah, it's been an
Awesome.
amazing and wonderful experience.
Yes, congratulations. How long
Thank
have
you.
you
Thank
been
you.
in the field of counseling and education altogether in general?
So I've been in the counseling field for about we graduated together. So about 6 to 7 years. So it's been about about 7 or 8 years, somewhere around there. And yeah, I've worked with a variety of different individuals. I provided some in-home family counseling, so going into people's home and helping them. I've also worked with juveniles, who were in the Department of Juvenile Justice Care, so I've done a lot of things within my career. And just, I think at the end of the day, I really have a passion for helping people. So yeah.
Awesome. And we've been talking a lot about passions, especially the fact that if you're passionate or interested in something, like it doesn't feel like work. It doesn't feel like you're getting up every day and grinding. It's just like, I get to go have fun and I get a check for it. So that's
Yes.
perfect. So what type of education or training is required for your field?
So it's a lot of school. Don't let that deter you, right? You want to make sure that you are constantly moving towards the things that you want out of life, right? So don't let it deter you. But you have to have a bachelor's degree, right? You have to go and get your bachelor's. So that takes about 4 years to complete. And it can be in any field, really. It can be in psychology, whatever. We have individuals who come into the field who have no background related to counseling, right? So yeah, you got to have that bachelor's degree. So 4 years there, right? And then you got to go on and get your master's degree. So that's an additional 2 years, and that has to be in counseling, right? And then from there, you got to go get you a PhD. So that's a doctorate, right? You want to make sure you go ahead and get that. And that takes between 3 to 5 years, depending on if you're going to go into counselor education. So yeah, it takes about 3 to 5 years to complete. And that's yeah, so at a total, I think that's a total of 12 years total, somewhere around there, 10 to 12 years. So yeah, it's a lot of
Perfect.
school.
Yes, but it's worth it. So what you talk
Yeah.
about bachelor's degree, master's degree, and a PhD. Where did you obtain all these things from?
So I went to Fort Valley State University, which is a historically Black college in Georgia. And I really had a lot of amazing experiences there, met a lot of amazing people, mentors. So it's just a great experience where I felt like I was validated in my wholeness, and attending Fort Valley. And then from there, I went over to Columbus State University where we met, and I got my master's degree in counseling from there. And then I went over to Auburn University where I obtained a degree in counselor education, PhD. So War Eagle, right? I know we're rivals, right? In many ways too, so.
Perfect. And you touched on this a little bit before, but what led you to this career?
Yeah, so I actually have a second master's degree. So a part of that program, there was this internship component. So I ended up interning down at the Department of Juvenile Justice. So being able to be down there with those youth really had a profound effect. Well, it had an impact on me. And it was like an aha moment, something kind of clicked, right? And being able to see those counselors interact with those youth, I was like, wait, this is what I should be doing, right? I just got all the feels from being in the room with them and sharing space, right? And yeah, so after that experience, the very next semester, I ended up enrolling in the counseling program, the master's counseling program at Columbus State University. So yeah.
Ooh, perfect.
And I think I brought it back to my own personal experiences and reflecting on some of my, like my mother's experiences, right, with mental health, some of her struggles, right. And I think that also played a part in a role too, in me wanting to just go out and help. My mother was a helper. She went out and she would serve individuals food in the morning time, our leftover meals and stuff. So I think that service orientation has always been a part of my life, like just because of the role models that I had, in my mom and my grandmother. So yeah.
That's perfect. So, and you talked about your second master's degree. What was that in?
So that's in public administration. So that degree really prepares you to be able to work maybe in government, right? In an administrative type of position, right? So it's still a helping type of role, but I'm not working at the grassroots, right? With folks, right? So I'm maybe more concerned with policies and things like that. So yeah.
Perfect. Awesome. Okay. So, next thing, what does a typical day consist of in your field, either in education, being a professor, or even just a counselor, or both, whichever one you want to talk to us about?
Yeah, so a typical day for me, or just in my field as an educator, counselor, educator, it varies. So some days I'm teaching, some days I'm engaging in, I'm working with some folks, counseling some folks. Some days I'm conducting research, so adding new knowledge, creating new knowledge to help some people, right? Some days I'm working for different nonprofit organizations to really provide some level of change, right? Because I currently serve as the chair of the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee for an association, a national association. So sometimes I'm engaging in some work with them. So I love the flexibility that my role provides me with and the autonomy. So I'm able to do a lot of different things, to have my hand in a lot of different areas to be able to help people more holistically. So yeah.
I love it. Perfect. So, what do you enjoy most about your career?
I think just the engagement, with another person, I really enjoy that part, just the engagement and just being able to share space with someone, whether that's in teaching, whether that's counseling individuals, or whether that's in some of my other professional roles. I think I just enjoy the aspect of being able to share space with someone and making them feel validated, seen, and heard, right? I think that's what it's all about. At the end of the day, a lot of people, I think that's what we're missing in life, right? So I think that through this relational dynamic, I'm able to kind of create space so they can feel seen, validated, heard, and being able to be their authentic self, right? We all want access to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, right? So I think that I'm along on that journey with them. So I think just sharing space is what I really value. So yeah.
Yes, and creating safe spaces. I love it.
Yes. Yes.
Perfect. What are some challenges that you faced in your role?
So I think some of the challenges relate to maybe trying to do too much. I think maybe those are some of the challenges that maybe I place on myself, maybe in some ways, because we have a lot of flexibility and autonomy. I think that we may add other roles and positions and start to do other things, getting engaged in all of these different other professional activities where we're not really taking care of ourselves, right? And that should come first. And being able, because that's only one dimension of who we are, right? That's only one area, right? So it's important that we tap into all of these other areas of who we are, my creative side, right? My personal time and spending time with my family and my loved ones, right? So I think that sometimes the self-care aspect can be challenging with all of these multiple roles that I hold. So that's something that I'm very intentional about trying to set boundaries with. So I think boundary setting is important, so yeah.
Beautiful. So, how do you see your career evolving in the next 10 years?
Wow, that's a huge question, but I don't know. I think that maybe I'll probably continue to do some of the same things that I'm doing now. I think that my passion really relates to helping the LGBTQ plus community. So I think that I'll be more active in that area as it relates to maybe writing a book, some type of self-help book after I've kind of gained more just insight into their experiences through research, right? So I think that I'll probably maybe one day write a book, you know? So I think, yeah, I'll probably continue to do some of the same things that I'm doing now, just maybe at a different level. So yeah.
Perfect. So what kind of person do you think is most successful in your field?
Say that one more time.
What kind of person do you think is most successful in your field?
What kind of person do I think is most
Or what,
successful?
or what kind of qualities of
Hmm.
a person in your field? What kind of qualities would be good in your field?
Well, I think one, you talked about earlier having this passion, right? I think that that comes like that's the first thing. Like you have to have some level of passion in being able to help and sit across from someone else.
Mhm.
So I think that that's very important. Also, another skill I would say is just having like self-awareness, right? I have to be aware of my own biases and what I bring into the counseling room in order to be able to help somebody else, right? So it's like a self-check, right? I need to be able to check myself and critically think about the ways in which I show up in the room with somebody else, right? I think that that's also an important quality in our field. And yeah, just being determined, I think determination is important too. Making sure that I am driven to engage into these different professional activities. And yeah, I don't know. I think you just keep developing the skill set and the knowledge, right? So making sure that I'm consistently going in that direction. But yeah, so off the top of my head, those are some of the things that come to mind for me right now. So,
Perfect. And what does communication look like in your field?
communication is very important because I think that with language, we can say some things to. So I think that language serves a purpose, right? And us being able to communicate, share space. We love on people through language, right? But it can also be harmful, right? If we're not communicating properly, with individuals. So language is so important, especially in a therapeutic room, because sometimes people can misinterpret the things that you may say, and yeah, so you don't want people to misinterpret the things that you may say because that could shield them from being able to interact and engage with you, right? Like, oh, I don't want to share space. You're supposed to be like counseling. You saying these types of messages and things like that. No, so language is definitely very important. We want to make sure that we use I statements, right? Making sure that we're listening. I think when it comes to communication, the most important thing is active listening, right? A lot of times we want to if someone says something, right, we want to come in with our own opinion and objective or whatever, and not even consciously sitting down and thinking about what the other person just said. So I think that when it comes to communication, the first part is just active listening, just listening, just sit down and listen. Like that's so important in our field. So yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. All right. So what kind of technology do you use in your field?
So as it relates to technology, that's a very great question. Um, so I think that technology can be integrated in many different ways. So when we talk about, like right now, we live in a telemental health world, right? Where services are being provided, where counseling services is being provided virtually, just like how we're having this interaction right now, right? So I know that a lot of counselors have had to get on board with having to provide telemental health services right now, and getting training on what that kind of looks like and how can I like assess for nonverbals and really get a sense of how people are experiencing this space, right? Because it's really easy to kind of get a sense of that in person, right? But sometimes virtually it's not as evident, right? And then I think that technology can be brought into the room when it comes to the different interventions that we utilize and apply, especially with working with children and stuff like that. I can see that technology can play a very large part in being able to kind of get folks engaged, right? So sometimes people don't want to sit down in this type of traditional type of position that we're kind of engaging in, but maybe we can pull out a cell phone and maybe create some type of intervention to get you kind of engaged in that way. So I think that technology is really important in our field, and I think that I think we're developing, we're continuously developing in that area. So yeah.
Perfect. So what kind of classes would you recommend for a middle school or a high school student to take if they're interested in your career or one similar?
Mm. So, hmm. So courses that they can take right now, or okay. I haven't been in school in so long, so I'm like, I don't even know what courses y'all even offer. Like,
Too funny.
I'm like, so I don't know, some a course in some ways related to helping. I'm not sure
Yeah.
what courses are offered, but
Yeah.
yeah,
So one
I
of the
think
things
that.
I think
But
about is like, some high schools offer like psychology,
they
um,
do. Oh,
maybe like public speaking, maybe if they have one of those top tier or CTAE classes to help them with not being so shy, or helping courses like health out. I don't know. Just
what? Look, you in there more than I am, so I'm like,
that is
but
too fun.
yeah, everything that you said, I completely agree with. Anything that helps you to be able, that improves, your ability to communicate with other folks, I think is
Mhm.
important, right? So yeah, and
Perfect.
if you don't have those types of courses, maybe finding a mentor, right? Somebody
Ooh.
that you can kind of connect with and who's
Mhm.
engaging in this career, right? Could be very beneficial for you as
Yeah.
well. So find a mentor.
Find a mentor, find some clubs. Love it.
Right. Yeah. Clubs. Yeah.
All right. And last question. Do you have any advice for our students here at Richards?
What advice do I have for you all? So I think what comes to mind for me right now in this moment is that, hey, you get one life. We don't get a second round at this, right? So making sure that I'm maximizing my opportunities and being the best that I can be for myself, right? I think that is so important that we tap into, our own the things that we bring to the table. I think oftentimes we kind of rely on, or we look to the left, we look to the right, at other folks and what they're doing, but no, run your race, understand that you do have the qualities and the abilities to make it, right? Despite any circumstances, any trials and tribulations, or what have you, right? So understanding that, hey, you can make it, you can do it. And yeah, I think that's all I got right now. So
Well, perfect. Thank you so much for your time.
no problem.